Welcome to the Agents of Innovation podcast, where we feature conversations with entrepreneurs, philanthropists, and artists. Okay, well, the Agents of Innovation podcast Guatemala series continues, and we are a little bit outside Guatemala City, about an hour drive in beautiful Palencia, Guatemala, and I'm here with the mayor, Beto Reyes, who also goes by Beto. Beto, welcome to the Agents of Innovation podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here in Palencia. Bienvenido a esta finca, San Patricio Limon. Es bienvenido a innovación.
Gracias, Beto. And he just welcomed us to the finca here, the coffee finca, the coffee farm in Palencia, Guatemala. This is the San Patricio Coffee Farm, and they're also noted for winning they're number 14th in the Cup of Excellence in Guatemala.
Yes, we are reaching. We won the last time in the Cup of Excellence, and we reached the 4th place. It's
Cuatro or 14?
14.
14th place.
Appears not much, but we run between more than 200 farms.
Wow.
It's very hard.
So more than 200 farms competed in the Cup of Excellence, and there's even more farms in Guatemala than that.
Yeah, exists, of course, but the betters 200 farms run, and we reached the 4th place, 14º lugar.
Yeah, 14th place. So, we've got all this coffee stuff here in front of us, all these products. We have lots of different samplings, but I think we're going to need some actual coffee to drink for this podcast.
You want to test it?
I would love to test it.
Okay, try again. Okay.
And who is this young man here?
It's Emilio. Emilio is
Muchas gracias.
El más pequeño de la familia. Is the smaller of the family. We're going to test today. We're going to try good coffee. You want
salud.
Salud. Cheers. Cheers.
Well, that is some great coffee. And, I first got to know your middle son, Saul. And Saul told me a lot about your coffee. In fact, this is not the first time I've tasted San Patricio coffee. I'm just going to have to tell everybody on the podcast. It's become my favorite coffee. And I always tell Saul when he tells me he's the 14th, that this is placed 14th in the Cup of Excellence. I said, well, one day it's going to be number 1 in Guatemala, right? Number 1.
We're going to get it.
Yes, number 1. So as more listeners, if you guys want some San Patricio coffee, it's actually kind of hard to get because they have some exclusive contracts, I think. But I have exclusive access to Saul, who brings me some bags of coffee in Guatemala City anytime he's in the city. I said, let me know. I'm going to be bringing some more back to the United States for family and friends to have. My parents already love it. They want to come visit here as well. And hopefully people, if they're listening, will be coming to visit here on one of the future Fearless Journeys group trips, because we brought the last group trip here, and Saul and Emilio and Ruth gave a guided tour for my group around a wonderful coffee finca here. So
you are
really
welcome wherever you wanted. Last time you've been here with some group, but it's one of the things that we're going to do in the future. We want to try to do coffee tourisms. Mm-hmm. We have the conditions to receive the people. Whatever you want to be in here, San Patricio has the doors open to you, and everybody wants to visit us. You are welcome anytime.
Gracias. Well, it's a beautiful place. It's on the side of a mountain here, and we're sitting here kind of probably maybe halfway up the mountain.
We are in the middle of the mountain.
This is your family's home, and we're in an area here, a little patio. I know you guys do some meetings here. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
We share with the family here. We live here, and this is a very nice place. We build it step by step, day by day, month by month, all the time doing new things, planting flowers, trying to get nice home.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful place, and it's very large, and it's today about 190 acres. Is that right?
Yes, it's exactly 190, and it's growing up little by little. We are trying to attend the request of our customers and produce high quality coffee.
That's great. Well, yeah, it is a specialty coffee in Guatemala here, so it's high quality. So I came here a couple of times. I brought my group here, and I got to tell you, it's such a nice place. You think this was something owned by many generations, and how large it is.
Yeah, we started with this farm 25 years ago. We started with my father and my brothers. At this time, we are working with my son, my daughters. It is a family work. It's a passion for the coffee. Each day we do our best trying to get the best coffee. And the best coffee is not just to produce it. It's the relationship that you have with the coffee in the planting, in the harvest, in the process. All the time you have a human contact with the coffee.
Yeah, so it's that what's really interesting, and I was mentioning this on a previous episode that I had with somebody who was talking about coffee, and I said, it's interesting because let's say for somebody like me in the United States, we don't obviously grow coffee in the United States. There's not a region for growing coffee there. There's not the climate or anything like that, but we take for granted this coffee, and actually, if you think about in some ways how I know it might cost a lot if you go to like a Starbucks or something, but it's still pretty minimal considering the entire process that the coffee goes through. And to really, I think now that I've been here and I've seen it, and Saul's given us the tour, and he's taken the coffee beans off the tree and and showed us, it really makes me more appreciate that cup of coffee when I'm drinking it back home.
To produce coffee is a passion. Is like, as I said, day to day. But when you add the family to produce coffee, you get that flavor. To get a good cup of coffee is not easily. Is to add different things to produce coffee. Depends of the soils, to the seeds, to the selection plants, to the weather, to the shadow, la sombra, and the way that you harvest, the point exactly that you pick it up. You have to pick it up when it's absolutely red, but no like a grape, because you can mess the harvest.
Yeah.
It's quality control all the time.
And throughout different parts of the year, you're doing different things. You're
Yes.
focused on different kind of work based on the seasons.
The coffee need to be attended all the time, but the harvest start in December, because we are in the highest. I mean, we produce strict hard coffee. I mean, it's high quality coffee. It start on December 10, 12 around December, and we finish the harvest around the end of March or inner of April.
Wow.
Yeah, it's around 3 or 4 months the harvest.
And then what happens around the end of April? Do you start planting again, or what's the process like?
Yes, we started caring about the new plantations, controlling the all of the plantation, is all of the job, applying fertilizers, caring about new plantations, it's just maintenance of the plantation.
Yeah. Okay. So, Beto, I have to ask, because we're here and we're in Palencia, where, by the way, you're also the mayor of this town. We're going to get into that in a little bit. That's why I introduced you as the mayor. But you were born and raised in Palencia?
Yes, I born in 1964. I born from very, very poor people. My mom doesn't read, doesn't write. My father was a natural agriculture. He works in a farm here, but poor people. We are 5 brothers and 4 sisters.
You're one of 9. Yeah.
9, yes. Yeah. It's a big family, but lovely family. My mom cannot teach me to spell mamá, la M con la A significa mamá. She cannot, because she didn't write and she didn't read. But she teach me very important lessons about the love, about the important that is that you have empathy.
Empathy?
Empathy with the more people. Like if you are, like if it's possible to feel, if I can feel what the people feel, it's very important. I walk without shoes.
Wow.
It's a very important lesson for me.
Yeah.
It permits to me to understand how the people feel, what the people needs. That's why I get in the politics.
Yeah. So your mother, while she couldn't teach you how to read or write or spell, she taught you maybe more important things, to love and how to have empathy and feeling for other people and understand their situations.
Yeah, she gave me very important lessons. She's still alive. I love a lot. I love my mom.
Well, she sounds very wise.
Yeah, I love. She's the best teacher that I could get in my life. And my father too. My father was very traditional people in Guatemala, but right man, he teach to me that if you do something, you must to define. If you don't, it's better that you don't do that. You must to do by single to be the thing that you're gonna do. You have to do straight. You have to do the right way. You must to respect to the other persons, to the other people. It's the important lessons to me.
Yeah. So, Beto, when I enter your home here, on the wall in your living area, there's a box that's has a lot of your carpentry tools. And again, you started this finca 25 years ago.
Yes.
But before that, when those carpentry tools, I believe you told me, belonged to you when you were about 18 years old. And tell me a little bit about the work you were doing and what your pay was like during those days.
Yes, my first job when I finished the elementary school,
What kind of elementary school?
I mean, it's a secondary school.
Secondary school? Like high school?
Like high school, bachelor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like bachelor. I specialist in carpentry.
Carpentry.
Bachelor in carpentry.
Okay.
And my first job was like a carpenter, and I win at this time in 1983 around 5 quetzales a day.
You were making 5 quetzales a day.
A day, yeah.
So
it means less
that's
than
less than
$1
today, and it's probably about the same then. $1 is about 7.5 quetzales.
Yes,
Something
it's around there.
Yeah.
It was around there, and
so you were working all day. How many hours?
All day.
10 hours.
8 hours.
8 hours.
8 hours.
8 hours a
8
day.
hours a day
For less than $1.
But it permit to me to complete my knowledge about the carpentry. After that, I've been a specialist getting some courses in Colombia. I've been there.
You went to Colombia for some courses?
Yes.
In what?
By 3 months. It's trying to do industrial produces in carpentry.
Okay.
Okay.
Industrial production in carpentry.
Yeah, 3 months.
Wow.
Important carpentry center there. And after that, I come back to Guatemala, and I open my own company. And that's why I start to produce in carpentry.
For carpentry.
I work to some companies in Guatemala, TV companies like Canal 3, Canal 7, some
Channel 3 and Channel 7.
11 and 12, 13, and some radios.
And when you were working there, what you were doing carpentry for them?
Yeah,
like in their studios,
I
like
produced
helping
some studios,
nice.
Some studios in 2000. They started with the new Imagine, and they design in the US, and I produce here in Guatemala in my own carpentry shop.
Wow.
That's why I started the business. I was a teacher too at this time. I worked with like a teacher by 7 years ago. In 7 years in that time, and I lived the education like a teacher, but I started my own company producing carpentry.
What were you teaching?
Carpentry too.
Carpentry to other young people?
Yeah, in Guatemala City.
Oh, in Guatemala City.
That's in that time I start to win a little bit money, more money than the carpentry shop. But good lessons in my life. My life is formed, I don't know, is growed step by step, day by day, experience by experience.
Well, it's interesting because I said this to you before we did the interview. It's really amazing because when I see and hear the story that in 1983, which was about 40 years ago now,
yes, 39
years ago, you were making
40 years ago, much pounds less.
Yes, well, you were making less than $1 a day.
Yeah,
and I'm here at this beautiful finca in this wonderful home. You mentioned 190 acres. You have how many employees working for
around 40, probably 40? Usually around 30, but in the harvest more than 70 employees.
So it's just amazing to me. And one of the things I said was, how does someone go from making less than $1 a day to 40 years later having this? And you just said it a little bit. It's step by step, day by day. A lot of people don't understand the growth and the hard work it must take day by day. And did you have a vision that you could potentially one day live a life like this today?
I can explain that.
Yeah.
Because if in your life you have a plan, you have a vision, you are constant, you have a fear of, you trust in God. If you work hard, you can get it. The most of the people in the world must to do like that. I'm not the only one in the history. A lot of people who get the success.
Yeah.
Has histories like mine.
For sure. Well, but it's fun to actually meet a real life person who's had that success and to see where they came from. And you have a wonderful family. I've gotten to know your son Saul and your other children, and they seem like they have very strong values. And it sounds like your family, you also have these strong values, that not just work ethic but moral values too.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to transcend, to finish my life giving to my sons material things. I want to give an heritage to them that they can get, that they can plan in his mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the most important thing, much the way your mother did with you, right?
Yeah, right. The same thing.
Yeah, I mean, she physically couldn't hand down material things.
Sometimes,
but she handed other lessons to you.
Sometimes the people look for excuses to don't get it, to don't do it. They first think in the problem. They first think about the things that cannot do it. The life is an opportunity.
Yeah.
The life is a chance that God give us.
So let's talk about those steps. So how did you get into coffee?
Well, when I get...
How did a carpentry man get into coffee? Other than the fact that we're surrounded by coffee in Guatemala, right? But how did you get into it?
The carpentry was a very good business. Probably the best one. But when I was in the carpentry, I've been in the carpentry, and I start to work in a Young's Association here in Palencia, Youth Association, trying to help to the town, and that's after that I work in some mission in the church, social work, and the people put the eyes on me and said, probably Beto can be good mayor, probably Beto can be un buen alcalde. And they push me when I feel I've been in front of the mayor, city hall, and doing a mayor. But I come back to my lessons of my mom and my father. If you do something, you do fine. Try to do the best all the time, all of the things that you do. That when I been a mayor, I had the transport business, I had the carpentry, I had the coffee business, but the major things take the most of my time, and I end to the carpentry. I still have my carpentry shop, but I leave the transport business. I keep the coffee business.
So so you became mayor in, was it 2004? The first
Yes,
time?
2004 the first time. I'm a mayor by 4 times at this time.
4 times. And you started the coffee finca, what was that, 1999? Or
It's 20
before that?
25 years ago.
1997?
1999, around there. We bought the first load of the farm, and we started with my brothers. Because another important thing in the life is that you can reach too much alone, but if you work like a team, you can reach much that you can figure out.
Well, I teach this to my students all the time at Francisco Marroquin University in my entrepreneurship class, because we talk a lot about collaboration, and that innovation happens in teams. It doesn't happen by yourself. And so this is a great example of you built it with your brothers. When you say your brothers
at this
and
time
sisters,
we're still together. At this time,
and
Marcos and Felix and Manuel and Jaime, we still work together.
You still work together?
Yes.
So you started this with your family, with your siblings, back in the late 1990s. How much? How much land did you start with? Like, what was?
We started with around 26 manzanas at that time. We bought 26 manzanas.
Is that like 44 acres?
Yeah,
44
acres. We bought in association with my brothers. I pay the half of the farm. They take the other half of the. Of course, we used to a credit bank, to bought.
And was that on this part of the same land that you have today?
We don't feel you can find fences in the farm, but we know what is mine and what belongs to them.
Yeah.
But this is a same
But
farm.
that first 26 manzanas, which is 44 acres. By the way, 26 manzanas literally translates to apples, but that's I have no idea what that means locally.
It's a hard word.
Yeah, but you, part of those that 26 manzanas is still part of your land today?
Yeah, we are in the middle of that 26 manzanas, and when we arrived to this place, it was very on order. I mean, it's not organized.
It was not organized.
Not organized, yeah.
So
no coffee plants here.
What was here? Just land?
Land and some trees.
And you had a vision that coffee could grow here?
Yes.
So coffee wasn't growing here at the time?
Yeah, it's very nice history. When I was young, I want to get 1 acre, and God sent to me the opportunity to buy around 26. The important thing in Francisco is if you can share same vision, same compromiso. Si tú eres capaz de trasladar una visión, de compartir un compromiso, y si tú eres capaz de generar sinergia, tú puedes conquistar el mundo.
Okay, so
if you can share the same vision with a lot of people.
Yeah, so thank you for the translation help over here to my friends. But
sorry,
if you could,
English.
that's much better said in
Short.
Spanish. But he's basically saying if you share the same vision with other people, together you can conquer the world. That's basically what you're saying. Yeah,
Ask to
amazing.
Napoleon.
Yeah, ask Napoleon. yes, that's true. Although I don't know if
It's crazy, but
yeah. So you started this with those 26 manzanas, or 44 acres, and how did it grow from there? What was the steps to grow? Because now you have 190 acres.
You know, sometimes a friend said, I'm selling that area close to you. Mm-hmm. You want to buy it? But we growed when we start producing high quality coffee. Sometimes came to the farm customers, and they say, I want to buy your coffee, and I want to buy your coffee, and I need to attend the buyers, the customers, and we are extending step by step, looking for fresh area. I mean, the change weather, I know, in the world is doing big damages. Because the weather is changing.
The climate change.
Climate change, yeah. And that's why we are looking for highest areas. Because the coffee needs specialty weather.
So other people from around the world were coming here to Guatemala, and they saw, and for people, you may not know this because you're not sitting here with us, but we're first of all, Guatemala City, which is below where we're at, is at about 5,000 feet. I don't remember what that translates to in meters, but 1,500 or so meters, Guatemala City?
It means around 1,250 meters over sea level.
In Guatemala City.
In Guatemala City.
And then here you're higher.
It's a little bit higher. It's
like
around
1,500?
1,000. We start in 1,350 to up.
And up. Yeah, I remember I've been, we're about midway up the mountain where we're sitting here. And you're more than 1,500 meters, right? 2,000 meters? Almost 2,000 meters?
Almost 2,000 meters. The highest that we have is 1,800 meters.
So that's interesting. So you have people from other parts of the world that say, we need to invest in some specialty coffee that's at higher elevations because we're looking for the future where maybe there'll be areas that might be covered by water or maybe not acclimated in the future for the right climate. And so they're coming to a higher elevation place like Guatemala, and they find your finca, which is in a perfectly highly elevated place.
Yeah, this highest of the sea level permit the soils, the conditions permit to produce high quality coffee. It's very accepted. At this time, we are selling coffee in United Kingdom and London, in New Zealand, in Japan, Australia. Is because we produce high quality coffee, but specialist. In Guatemala, we produce high quantity coffee. I mean, a lot of coffee. Sure. But in the last years, we are producing high specialty coffee, microlots. Microlots. By varieties. By qualities, by flavors, is the job that we do.
So you continue to grow that, and you've got customers in all those places you mentioned: the UK, England,
Australia, Japan.
New Zealand, Japan. I know that. So we've got in front of us some bags. I know that you also, at one point, just for my people back in Florida, at one point, Bold Bean Coffee Roasters in Jacksonville, Florida, at one point had your coffee, and we got a bag right there, that black bag. Tell us about some of these relationships and how they were built.
Yeah, this is one Pacamara is my favorite coffee that we produce. They sell the sold last time ago in Jacksonville in Florida. It's very, very good coffee. And at this time we have Ozon. Ozon is another customer that we have. They sell our coffee in United Kingdom. Ozon, and they sell our coffee too in New Zealand. Has Been is another people who buy our coffee. They love our coffee. They at this time the 95% of the coffee that we produce by both of them, Ozon and Has Been.
That's great. Then also I see you have a porter over there. This is like a coffee porter?
Yeah.
And where's that sold?
That one?
Yeah.
This is a beer produced in the harvest 15 and 16. And this is a coffee export. They use San Patricio coffee to do flavor to this beer. This is a artesanal beer. Es una cerveza artesanal produced with our coffee.
And that's in England?
It is in England,
Yeah.
in Stafford.
So I asked your son Saul earlier if I could take some of that home with me, and he said we only have 2 bottles here because they're for show.
Sometimes
You're going to have to go to England to get this, Francisco. I said, well, we're going to need to take a trip to London sometime soon.
It's a long trip.
Yes.
So this coffee is sold in drop coffee in Stockholm, Suecia.
Sweden.
Sweden, yeah. They sell our coffee. Is one condition that we sell our coffee is denomination of origin.
El Limon. Oh, let's talk about that. So this
Yeah.
is the El Limon, the region.
Limon.
So that's what. So it's interesting when I see your name of your finca, I often see it San Patricio El
San
Limon.
Patricio Limon.
Yeah.
That name belongs to the guy who sell us long time ago, and we love to keep that name. This original name, San Patricio, and San Patricio Limon is this area, and at this time we keep the name. We love this name, and we
So this area was already called San Patricio El Limon.
San Patricio
and you
Limon.
just adopted it for your.
We have another extra annexos, but we sell the commercial name is San Patricio.
Interesting.
We're so proud to.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit earlier, and so for the listeners here, when coffee is exported out of Guatemala,
Okay.
there are different regions of Guatemala that people say, oh, the coffee comes from Antigua or it comes from whatever. Tell us about how you're trying to better market the coffee from this region.
The most of the we produce in Palencia around 400,000 quintales, 400,000 quintales.
It sounds like a lot.
It's very much coffee.
Yes.
Much coffee. But
Is that just from your finca or from all of Palencia?
No. It's all of Palencia.
All of Palencia,
producer.
okay.
High quality coffee.
High quality.
But they used to sell the coffee mature like that to Antigua or Santa Rosa. The bad thing here is that they sell our coffee with his name. Probably you can find some other coffee in the world call it Genuino Antigua, but the coffee was produced here in Palencia.
So really, some people are drinking coffee in different parts of the world that say Antigua or something, and it's not really produced in Antigua. It might be produced in Palencia.
Same like Fraijanes, same like Santa Rosa. That's why recently we meet with the Anacafe. Anacafe is a coffee producer association here in Guatemala, trying to get our own name of Palencia like a region.
Yeah, so you're trying
because
to get
we
that.
produce high quality coffee. We need that the world put the eyes of here in Palencia.
That would be great.
The world can find very good coffee here in Palencia.
So how can coffee farmers, I had a friend of mine actually on a previous episode of my podcast. He works with a great group. He's based in Atlanta, Georgia. It's called Thrive Farmers, and they have a nonprofit called Thrive Works. And they really try to help improve the balance in the coffee industry for the coffee farmers, because the coffee farmers in most parts of the world, including in Guatemala, don't make very much of the percentage that ultimately the consumer pays. Most of that goes to a lot of international corporations. I don't want to mention any, but you know who I'm talking about. And so, but how can coffee farmers take home more of the profits, if you will, of what is actually produced in coffee?
Around 8 years ago, we organized one cooperativa.
A cooperative, yeah.
Cooperative, yeah. And with coffee producers here in Palencia. And it is a very nice experience. At this time, they are very organized. They have very good process, and they are producing and exporting coffee, especially exporting coffee to U.S. And I know that they export to Taiwan time ago. This is the opportunity that the coffee producer needs, and I'm sure that we are each year doing best, and the people at this time know that they have to care about the high quality coffee and produce high quality coffee to sell straight to the some other countries.
So let's say, I'm obviously an American who lives in the United States most of the time when I'm not living in Guatemala, and I'm trying to find out what kind of coffee can I buy that best supports coffee farmers? Because nowadays they have the free trade, that's been a thing, or not the fair trade coffee. But even when you investigate fair trade coffee, it's only improved the situation a little bit for coffee farmers, not really a lot of it. So what can I best do as a consumer of the coffee to know that I can best support coffee farmers?
I think if someone wants to buy coffee here, very good coffee, they look for the coffee producers. Francisco, I would like to do some comparison between the coffee and the wines and the cheese, and the jams. It's same thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to buy good cheese and you thinking if you visit some place in the world and you try to go probably to the market, and probably the best experience could be if you go straight to the cheese producer. Same thing with the coffee. If someone wants to buy coffee here in Palencia, can talk to us, and we don't care if buy the coffee directly San Patricio. We can put in contact with some people here in Palencia, and you can get a very good experience. In Palencia, we have a very good experience. We had, Francisco, a farm called El Socorro. They win by 2 or 3 times the first place in Cup of Excellence.
Wow.
His name is de la Cerda. Juan Diego de la Cerda is the name of the guy. They produce very, very good coffee. They export all of the coffee, but no, he's the unique. We have a lot of producers of very good coffee here in Palencia.
So that's a good thing. So if you're listening and you really want to buy direct, maybe from one of the coffee farmers here in Guatemala, contact San Patricio Limon, and you can either help.
If you
with
want
them
very good coffee, look for us.
Yeah, you can get their coffee directly, or you can. They could even help you work with some other coffee farmers in the region. Okay, so speaking of coffee, we've got some of this in front of us here. Can you take us through the process? Because I know during different parts of the season we talked about that. And can you tell us what this is that we're looking at in front of us?
Okay.
And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, this is why you need to go to YouTube and watch this.
Okay, to the coffee experience, need to know that probably you think that the coffee is coffee, but no coffee means coffee. I think if you want to know what gave the flavors a good cup of coffee,
very flavorful, by the way.
It's good.
Yeah.
The best thing is the things that you must to know is in the harvest. Talking about the harvest.
Yes.
The harvest start pick it up.
Yeah.
The coffee. You see the size.
It almost looks like a grape, but it's very hard.
But it's the exactly point that you must to pick it up. Probably if you permit that they get more mature like this, the flavor could be like wine.
Oh yeah,
but it's
a little softer with that darkness. Yeah.
The best point of the harvest is like this. This is the exactly point that we pick it up. After the pick it up, we take off.
So you pick those off the trees.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes they fall off the trees, or no?
No. You pick it up.
Okay.
Several times in the harvest. No, it's just one time. You pick it up, getting just the red coffee grains, and after that you take off the shell like this.
Yeah.
Logic by machine, and get like this. This is parchment.
Yeah.
This is wet. This is very sweet, very, very sweet. And after that, we can put to dry and get parchment. This is parchment.
Parchment, yeah.
Parchment. Pergamino we call it pergamino.
And so you dry it?
You must to be sure that be exactly point of dry and get that point. This is the green bean. Here we have a natural. This is kind of a specialty of our San Patricio. It's a natural specialty. natural means that we put dry straight to the field to the benefit to getting dry with the shell. After that, we take the shells and get this coffee. If you smell this,
Yeah.
and tell me what you feel.
I have to get a little bit more here.
Feel it.
Yeah, what does that smell like?
It's very deep.
Yeah.
I mean, smell
Very
very.
distinct smell.
Yeah, it smell very good because in this specialty, keep all the sugars when this is dried. This is roasted. This is
Roasted.
already
That's
roasted.
when after you might roast it.
It's,
Where do you roast it? Do you roast it on site or
no,
off site?
we don't sell coffee, roasted coffee. We export in green bean to Europe.
So okay. Oh, you export that all the way to Europe and they roast it there.
They roast over there.
And I know that I get some San Patricio coffee from hand deliveries here from Saul, and so but there must be somewhere in town that in Guatemala City that they also roast it for you,
Yeah, yes.
so you can get something local.
We just roast the coffee for to the own use.
Yeah, so for your own use.
Yes,
Yeah.
home use to the friends too.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you.
To
Muchas
the friends
gracias. This
But
is how.
we don't sell roasted coffee here in Guatemala. This is the next line that we're gonna open with the family, because it's very important that you know that at this time, my son and my daughters are included in the work.
So we're going to get to that in a minute. One thing I want to ask you too about the coffee production. I understand that there's a couple of very innovative things you do here on the farm. One, I know when you fertilize and everything, you don't use any pesticides.
No.
Right? So
no
tell me,
more.
what do you do instead?
Last time we use herbicides to control of la maleza.
Like
Usábamos herbicidas para el control de maleza.
la maleza is
La
like
maleza es el monte.
Insects.
No, it's like a plant that grows. And
Okay.
In the middle of the coffee plants, but no more. At this time, we use in last time herbicides, but we discovered that they make some damages to the coffee plants, and we don't use anymore because all of the herbicides translate straight to the grain, and we don't use 10 years ago. We don't use any more herbicides. We control by hand, with the people. It permits to get healthy coffee plants and no more. We produce a lot of employments.
Yeah. So that's good. So you have instead of using maybe pesticides or herbicides, you actually have the farmers by hand are making sure to cultivate the plants.
Everything is by hand.
Yeah.
No, by hand. No more herbicides. We try to produce high quality coffee, and we don't use pesticides or chemics who can do damages to the health to the people.
Yeah.
We care about the environment too.
Yeah.
We care about the.
Well, what you just described. So first of all, you care about the health of people. You want to give them a quality product that's not that doesn't have any herbicides or pesticides that are used, so that and also that improves the quality of the coffee, not just the health of the people. In addition, by doing the hand maintenance of the plants and the coffee farm, that adds to the sustainability of the land, right? Because a lot of people might just look for a shortcut. And instead you're looking the sustainability, the long-term use of the land, that it continues to be able to be used year in and year out for many years.
We apply agronomical techniques. All the time I'm doing innovation and agronomical practices. My biggest son, Betio, and Saul, they are engineers in agronomic things. That's why they are applying at this time his knowledge and doing the best practices, trying to produce high quality coffee and healthy coffee too.
And also, you have on this finca. So first of all, we're in February. What did you say about the weather in February? What do people say here?
The favorite what?
What? How do you describe what people say the weather in February is like?
Okay. I was talking about Febrero is a little bit crazy. In Guatemala,
Loco.
we said Febrero es loco.
Febrero es
and
loco.
Un poco.
And marzo un
A
poco.
little bit.
So in February, people just, I guess the weather could be anything, any day. What's really struck me living in Guatemala City for the last year, March and April were beautiful when I got here. It was like clear skies. Yeah, and then May through September was very rainy
It's
season.
Very nice time. All the times in Guatemala is nice weather. Is eternal.
Yeah, the end of the year. Like
Eternal spring.
Oh, the eternal spring. No, the temperature is perfect. I mean, you can see how
Guatemala
I'm
is-
dressed today. I've got a light sweatshirt on, and it's because it's a little cooler today. So this is a little weird. This is a little interesting because for most of February that I've been here, it's been pretty clear skies most of the day. The last couple of days been starting to get a little cloudy, and today it was raining a little bit. But I mentioned that because you have about half the year here where it's the rainy season, which is great for the green, right? It's great for the growth of, and then the other half of the year it's a little more dry. But I also noticed here on the farm, you have some water storage. Tell me about what the thinking is behind that.
We care a lot about the environment, and the water is our responsibility.
Yeah.
We care a lot. We have different pools like water storage.
Yeah, they look like big, large ponds or pools. Yeah.
And we produce fish there too, and it's very nice. If you want to get the San Patricio experience, visit us, and you can find. Francisco is talking about the water reserves, and we care the water as you don't imagine it. We have a lot of pools.
Like pools or ponds.
Water tanks.
Storage.
And storage. You
Yeah,
can,
like a water tank. Yeah, I've seen
water
those
tank,
too. Yeah.
We keep the water because the water is the life. We care about the birds, all the animals here too, in all the environment.
So what's interesting is you get a pretty good steady amount of rain throughout the year here in Guatemala, and that's a little bit why this region is so conducive for coffee. But every year is a little different, right? And so it looks like, I like to say, you're saving for a non-rainy day, right? Some people like to say we're saving for a rainy day, when the storms come. But it looks like would that be accurate to say you're kind of storing that for days or periods when you maybe have less rain?
No, the water, we use the water to different things.
Okay.
To process the coffee is one of the uses, but we used to keep the areas, the green areas too in the summer. In the summer we need more water, probably to baby coffee plants. We have nursery.
Oh, the nursery for the plants. Yeah.
We have at this time around 5,000 plants. They're gonna be planted in the next winter, and we need in the summer water to keep water to irrigation systems.
Yeah. So again, I mentioned you talked earlier about that this was a collaboration of many people in your family, particularly many of your siblings. Now you have 5 children, I think ages 30 to 12.
Yes.
Is that right? Saul will be right in the middle at 24. You started the finca about the year he was born?
Yeah. When Saulito was born, we bought the San Patricio. It's very nice history. This is the real inner of the San Patricio coffee producers, because it's 25 years ago. But at this time, all of the families involved in the work. Each Saturday, we have a meeting with them. It's a very strict meeting, each one of my sons have different responsibilities.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so you meet actually mostly in this area where we're at here, right? You put a table up. I've seen some of the pictures. You've got a sort of a storyboard over here where you all strategize on what you're going to do in the coming weeks.
Boys or girls, they have different responsibilities, and each Saturday we design different responsibilities for the next week. In the end of the next week, we check how advances we have in different things. It permits us is growing up and doing easily work.
So also I understand that your children have all, and you mentioned this just briefly earlier, but they're all studying something just a little bit different. Can you tell me a little bit about what they're doing?
Yes, Betio study agronomical engineering.
Agronomical engineering.
Yeah, Elenita is the second one. She's already industrial engineer.
Industrial engineering.
Yes, and
okay.
she came each Saturday here. Sauliros study agronomical and industrial engineering.
Agronomical and industrial engineering.
Yeah, Tuti study zootechnia. Zootechnist.
Is that the veterinary?
Yeah, like
because you have livestock and you have other.
She loves the animals. I don't know why so much, but she wants to produce cows or pigs. I don't know what we're gonna do in the future here, but the one things that we are sure that we're gonna produce is bees.
Oh, for the honey.
Yeah, for the honey and to do coffee, to do part of the coffee process. And the Emilio is the little one.
He's 12.
He's 12, and he has his own responsibilities too.
Yeah, well, he served us some coffee here, and he was helpful on the tour when my group was here. So that was great. He's learning, and he's learning from his older siblings every day. So
this is very important because if they want to get success in the future, they need to start to work early in the life.
Yeah,
like my father teach to me. Some people who are son of farmers or company sons, they missed probably that the things that was so hard to get it. You know what I mean? If they know how hard is to produce, to get the things, I'm sure they're gonna keep it. They're gonna grow up in the future.
Yeah, when you learn how hard it is to work for things early, you appreciate them more, and you appreciate the work ethic that goes into those things.
Remember, I told you that I don't want to give things. I want to give the way,
right?
The knowledge, the fee.
That's important. Well, what really struck me after meeting Saul and your family and learning is that how each part of you guys really have like a family plan, a family vision, where everybody, okay, what are your interests, what are your skills, and how can you build that to bring to some element of the future of this finca?
We have they have each one of them has his own vision, but we have a family vision too.
Right.
We have another projects out of the coffee. We have some other business, but they have at this time already son's company. I'm not there because it's his company.
Yeah.
They call 5SA Fivesa, and it's his company, no mine. They must to start to think, to work, to produce his own things.
So you're still running the family business here, the finca. How much longer you think you're going to do it? Are you going to hand it off to the children?
I think I'm going to be with them around 5 years more. I need to be retired. I mean, I need to go to Key West. I need to go to Orlando to fish over there.
Well, I'll see you in Key West in Orlando.
Okay,
So
I'll
we'll
see you.
yeah,
Promise?
we'll do, yes, oh for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
When you're there,
we're gonna fish over there and share a lot
I
of
like boats.
sunny days over there.
Yeah, so we'll see you there. Well, I know you like let's stick to that because I know you like to visit Florida where I'm from. So we're gonna see you in Florida perhaps many times in the future. You're also a pretty well-traveled man. You've been to how many countries?
18.
So other than the United States, what's your favorite country?
This is a nice question. All of the world is nice, but if I could be in some other country, probably I would like to live in Colombia.
Colombia. Well, they have good coffee in Colombia, right? Not as good as Guatemala, right?
Colombia is very nice country too, and I like to live there because they have weather to produce coffee again.
But it's nice to visit, right?
Yeah,
I
nice
mean,
to be.
there's nothing like home, like Guatemala.
I would like to dance cumbia too.
You like to dance Colombian?
Cumbia.
What's cumbia?
Cumbia. It's a style of dance.
Is that a style of dance in Colombia?
Yeah, I like to.
So 18 countries.
18 countries.
18 countries. That's a lot.
I visited Israel too, in Lisboa, Portugal.
Visited Israel?
Yeah.
I visited Israel in 2018. I've been to 24 countries now, and that is probably my favorite trip.
Yeah, it's very nice because before to be there, you have different idea. I don't know if same experience, but when you've been in Israel, wow, it's very nice experience too. I love it. And I've been in South America, in Peru, in Bolivia, in Caribbean, in Cuba, in Dominican Republic, all of Central America. But each country, each place that you live is a new experience and built to you.
Yeah,
I don't know if you share with me that.
For sure. Well, you were born and raised here in Palencia. We talked about you. You first became mayor in 2004.
Yes.
I know there was a period between 2012 and 2016 you weren't mayor. Then you became mayor again. And in total, I think you have served about 14 years.
At this time, 14 years.
14 years. And you're in your fourth term?
This is my fourth.
Fourth term. So, why did you get involved in the political life, in politics, in public service?
The politics is the way to give opportunities to the poor people, to give conditions to the business people too. The politics must be the opportunity. In Guatemala, the politics are the people see the politics like the monsters, like a gangs.
Yeah.
But we know exactly that.
We sometimes say that in the United States too, but I think when you come to a lot of other people in the United States don't appreciate a lot of the rule of law and the justice system that we have there, that at least we can hold a lot of our monsters accountable. Maybe here not as much as there.
I'm perfectly unperfect.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly unperfect. I don't know if soy perfectamente imperfecto, but politics permit us, not just me. We are a team, and we built already around 300 classrooms here in Palencia.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It's 1,500 new homes for the people.
Now,
it's not my job.
300 classrooms and 1,500 homes for people. Palencia has about 80,000 people.
80,000 around
80,000 people. Were those classrooms and homes, were they built with government resources or?
No, it's different resources. I mean, sometimes the most of the resources belongs to or came from the government resources, but we share our vision with the business people here around here, and they gave us the resources. We prepared the planes, and we show to the business people here, and they support us, and they help to build schools, to rebuild schools. It's a different way to get the resource. Sometimes We have resources from Canada, from Taiwan, from U.S. For example, the immigrants in U.S., they help us to build the fire station.
Oh, the fire station. So these are people who left Guatemala, immigrated to the U.S. Once they're there, they start sending some support back, and they help build a fire station.
Yeah, they gave to us $5,000, and they helped to build the first fire station. At this time, we have three fire stations, around 8 or 9 cars, fire
vehicles,
vehicles, and 20 firemen working, paid by the city hall, and helping to the people. For that is the politic.
Yeah, and I remember one day I was here the first time I visited, and you had a couple guys here from Canada, and they were with, I think, some kind of NGO or nonprofit that was helping you in your partnership with building some classrooms.
Yeah, they help us they gave the financial resources to build that school. It was in El Pie del Cerro. It's very nice school. You know why, Francisco? Because if the boys wants a perfect world, they must be start in a nice home, in a nice school, in good conditions, with good teachers. But if you give to them bad schools, no good teachers, no good conditions, no good citizens.
Right.
Right? You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of citizens and politics and public service, I also understand, I can't remember what year you said, was it 2008 or 2010? You were the president of all the mayors of Guatemala. So there's like an association of all the different mayors, and you were the leader of that.
Guatemala for 2010 has around 333 mayors.
333 mayors in 2010 when you were the leader of all the mayors.
They elect to me to like a president of them, and I run 2 times, and I've been president all of the mayors in the country, and it was a very good experience doing relationship with the government staff and the international staff of cooperation, like Spain, like USA, like Germany, Japan, Taiwan. It was my role in that condition, like a president of all of the mayors in Guatemala. Very good experience. It permits us to know all of my country. Very good experience that.
Yeah, so I noticed that you were able to work with, 3 or 4 different presidents of Guatemala?
Yes, it permits, in that role, just one president. But in this home, been around 3 or 4 presidents already.
You lose track. 3 or 4 presidents have been to your home.
It means not much, but
it
means not much. But the presidents are.
It's not easy to get out here. So for the president of Guatemala to visit, it must have been a big deal for them to come here. 3 or 4 different ones have come here. Maybe they were really coming for the coffee. I don't know.
The coffee and the food.
The coffee and the food. I know your wife makes incredible food.
Place, yeah.
So maybe they were coming for the coffee, including maybe her famous soup.
It's a famous soup.
Yeah, but
hen soup.
Yes. But in addition to that, you also worked with corporations in other countries. I saw some photos. You were signing some treaties or some agreements. Maybe that's probably the other way.
Yes, conditions treatment with the Taiwan, with Japan, with the Israel embassy here in Guatemala. It permits us to trip a lot and to know how the world working. I mean, the municipalities in the world work.
So you've helped a lot of first of all, that gave you also the opportunity to meet a lot of leaders from around the country and around the world. Pretty neat. 1983. This man, I'm just going to remind you, was making less than $1 a day, right? And now he's got this great coffee finca. His family's really leading it. The mayor of the town. meeting with people, government leaders around the country. The president of Guatemala have now come here, right? So, but I think it sounds to me like a lot of what I've heard from your family is you really are dedicated to helping the people in your town, in your community, in Palencia. So tell me a little bit more about why that's so important to you.
So at this time, I don't know how do you say. I'm so happy, Francisco, this time, because I am 57 at this time, 57 years. I don't know.
Still
how
a
do
young
you say
man.
plenitud,
Still a young man.
Plenitud,
Yes.
pleno, feliz, realizado.
Yes, you're happy.
I'm happy, realized. I mean, I don't need anything. I'm happy. I'm not talking about material things. I'm happy with myself. I'm happy with myself. Thankful with my God. I don't need anything more.
Right.
My sons are caring about the San Patricio, and I'm caring about the people of the town, or town of the people. I mean, I'm happy serving to the people, doing my job. When the people talk, look some answer, like in the pandemic, was a very nice experience, because the mayors are the authority or the government close to them. In this world, the people is really needed with the politics to understand what they do, what they need. Politics to be the answer to them. This is big responsibility, but I enjoy my job, because I have a team in the city hall, in the government, in the municipality, who understand, who share with me the vision, who share with me the mission, who attend the responsibilities, and it's very good job, good experience.
Well, something I keep hearing from you consistently throughout different parts of your experiences in your life and through this conversation is you constantly talk about a team, and and earlier you had that great quote, if you have people who share the same vision, you can conquer the world. So whether that was you and your siblings building this coffee finca, whether that was your sons and daughters now helping to continue the family, or what you're doing down at City Hall, you have a team down there as well. You've also worked with people across the country as a team. So that's very important. Let me ask you a little bit about Palencia. 80,000 people here. I don't know the best way to say this, but what kind of means do most people live? Are there a lot of people in poverty? Are they kind of a lot of people in the sort of what you would call middle class? What are the kind of stations in life for people living in here?
Palencia's people is hard workers, is honest people, but they don't have they are looking for a chance. That's why some of them trip to US or some other countries looking for new opportunities.
So you have people from Palencia that leave and migrate to the US.
Yeah, a lot of people live there. If you ask in in the companies in US, who are the best workers in Latin American, the people said Guatemalan people. Months ago, I've been in Florida and Miami, and I meet with some girl who has several restaurants, and she said the best workers in our restaurants are Guatemalan people, because we work hard.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing. I know that I love the United States. Obviously, I was born there, and it's a great country. It may be the freest and most prosperous country in history, for all we know. But most people don't want to leave their country. They don't want to leave their home. They're forced to leave because of the economic conditions. But if we can improve the economic conditions for people in Palencia, they don't have to leave, right?
Okay, that's why that we are working here. But the conditions to the people stay here in Guatemala, they need opportunities. Mm-hmm. But to get opportunities, they need to first to get education opportunities, health opportunities, home with good conditions. That that's why we are working hard here in Palencia with my team, because I repeat, it's not just my job, it's vision shared, mission shared, and that's why the next retos, challenges are to give to them economical conditions to grow up here. For that way, they don't need to trip. They need to keep the families. At this time, we are doing some contract with the people in the U.S., in Canada, giving to legal work permits or visas of works to work with some months over there and come back. They gonna keep the families, because when the people trip, they lose the families.
Yeah.
Start the social problems here in Palencia, but we are working in economical grow up here, and if you get in by La Ruta al Atlántico, you see the works to grow up el paso de nivel. This is like a bridge to get in the Palencia. It's gonna permit economical grow up, education.
So that bridge that's being built
is builded. Building.
And by the way,
already.
just so people might be listening to this, those are not gunshots. Those are fireworks, because at any moment in Guatemala, at any part of the day, people like to shoot off fireworks. This is just I don't even flinch anymore, because before I was like, what is that? So anyway, these are some fireworks in the distance.
Take it easy. They are happy.
Yes. On a Sunday,
we love to. Probably is church, or
church
they are celebrating some birthday.
Yeah.
So back into the grow up. We are doing some conditions to economical grow up here in Palencia. I don't know if it's the right word, but
to try to help people mobilize economically.
Yeah.
So maybe I can ask you this in two parts. How have people from the U.S., how has the U.S. or people from the U.S. helped people in Palencia, or how can we help people in Palencia more?
Probably there are several ways, but I think probably some of them is
we need more fireworks. That's what we need to. Yes. Okay. So
we are on party.
Actually, that's how Guatemalans can help the U.S. We need to be as happy as people in Guatemala and be shooting off fireworks all the time. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep it on.
So we call La Feria here, and you be probably impressed because we burn a lot of fireworks.
Yeah.
A lot of fireworks is in Christmas too.
Oh, I wish I was here for Christmas, because I saw the videos. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah.
But back into how the U.S. people can help us is probably doing job opportunities there. This is one way, but legal. If some people in U.S. need Guatemalan or Palencian workers, we have some settings, some ways to do legal visas to them, visas.
Yeah.
To trip.
Legal work.
So
this is for people in the U.S. that need Guatemalan workers in the U.S.
They
for like seasons.
By seasons.
So then they come back to Palencia.
Yeah, they come back. They just gave me, for example, said, I'm American people. I'm American producer, and I said I have. I need workers to produce watermelons, for example, or some agriculture, and we can send some people by season over there.
Well, there's a lot of agriculture here in Guatemala, and I wonder how Guatemala could really take advantage of the great resources you have here and produce that for the world.
Yeah,
like the coffee.
Yeah, for example, the coffee is one very good example. But another way that you can help us is putting some companies here. you can contact to me, for example. I don't need to do business. I'm okay. I'm fine. But if you need people, you can contact to me like Facebook. And
so would we go to San Patricio Limon on Facebook? Is that the best Facebook page, or is there another Facebook page?
Guadalupe Alberto Reyes is my page, my Facebook. Guadalupe Alberto Reyes. Yeah, probably we can.
We'll put this in the show notes and the links.
Yeah,
so
we can put my address, email address, and everything over there, and we can do that. So another way that you can help us is probably supporting resources to build a technical school over here. Because
and when we support you through those resources, financial support would be good, so you can actually employ local people to build it, right?
Yeah,
because you don't. I know there's a lot of, and it's not like a bad thing, but I think a lot of volunteers come down and help, but then it takes away jobs.
It could be some in this home. We attend some people who came from U.S. from Arkansas. I remember that around 40 people.
But you paid them. Or no? They voluntarily?
Voluntarily. They help us to build some schools here in the in some village, and we used to do that, but probably more sustainable.
More sustainable?
Sustainable could be giving conditions to them.
Right.
It's no good if you cheap and leave the families. It's no good. Yeah. Nobody like it.
Right.
Nobody likes it.
So, Guadalupe Alberto Reyes. Tell me a little bit. This is your given name, Guadalupe.
Guadalupe. I born exactly on December 12th.
It's the feast day of.
We celebrate the Virgen de Guadalupe.
Yeah, the feast day of the Virgin of Guadalupe.
I'm Catholic.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah, that's why my mother and my father decide to give me that name. I'm happy with that, Guadalupe Reyes. Here in Guatemala, the people said to run some competition, Guadalupe Reyes. They start to drink on December 12th and finish on January 6th. Who celebrate the Guadalupe Reyes as just Guatemalan.
That's pretty funny. And the other thing, you're 57 years old. You've done a lot in your life. You've, carpentry. You've had a finca. You've been the mayor. You've been the president of all the mayors. But now people can follow you on TikTok.
Ah, yes. I'm a TikTok.
You're on TikTok. I've seen some TikTok videos. I'm not even on TikTok yet. I might have to get on TikTok just to follow you on TikTok.
And on TikTok,
and you're also on Instagram and all that. So how do we follow you on TikTok?
On TikTok, I'm Beto Reyes GT. Or
Beto Reyes. Beto Reyes. G-E-T-O. Beto Reyes. GT. So I'll put this in the show notes as well. So for you guys on YouTube or on Spotify or Apple, you can see this in the show notes.
You can see Beto Reyes there.
You can see Beto Reyes. And maybe, you know what? Maybe my friend Luis here who's videoing, maybe he can start my first TikTok account with a video of you and me on this podcast.
Could be great.
And then what's nice about TikTok is that you can share it on other platforms like Instagram. So I'm on Instagram, and so I'll have to follow you there as well. If I get on TikTok, we'll see. Well, this has really been a fantastic time here, and I feel like I can continue to talk to you for hours. But we have some more coffee to drink. And maybe some food by your wife. It's just great. But I've really enjoyed getting to know you and your family. And our Fearless Journeys group trip in November, this was the first trip that I organized for my new company, Fearless Journeys. And it was in Guatemala. And I tell you, the highlight of the trip was here. I surveyed everybody afterwards. And they said this was the best experience. One part of the reason it was the best experience was because they got to get out of Guatemala City. It wasn't Antigua. It was they got to go to Palencia, see this really nice town, a beautiful coffee finca on the side of this mountain. That was great. But the number one thing they said, connecting with your family was amazing. They said you have just an amazing family. You were not here that day. Unfortunately, you're mayor. You got things to do. But the day that we happened to come. But your children and your wife were very hospitable to us, and they said, wow, there was just the love of the Guatemalan family and the Guatemalan people for others to come. I think the first time I came here, your wife said to me within 10 minutes of meeting her, Francisco, this is your home anytime you want to come. So I just met you. So anyway, this is great.
Stay, we have beans and we have bed and
yeah.
and
I might be out in the field picking some coffee soon. So,
we have hamacas too. In Guatemala, we said if you want to stay, we have bed and we have beans.
that's so amazing, and again, you're very emblematic of the hospitality of, I think, the Guatemalan people, and also, I think maybe I could close this out with asking you something too, because we just talked about Guadalupe and the fact that you're Catholic, but and you've said a few times on this podcast that you've had the vision and you had the faith. How has your faith been a part of who you are today, and maybe part of like the vision you've had?
My vision and my faith, you must to know that I start all of my days I prepare, of course, doing my personal care, taking a shower, but I start my days putting my life, putting my family, putting my business, my vision, my troubles in the hands of our good God. I trust in the middle of my life conditions, I trust absolutely in God. Absolutely. I know that you can get the knowledge, you can be smart, you can be a genius, but if you trust in God, you are a real person. You are a real person. You can get all of the world. You can be owner of the world, but it's better if you trust in God and you put all of your ideas, all of the projects, all of the family in hands of God. I trust in God. I don't scare to talk about God. Probably some people think different, but I respect that. But I trust in God.
Well, it definitely seems from getting to know you and your family, it's a foundation that has helped you, like you said, have trust, whether you're successful or not. But obviously, it probably has added to your success as well. That when you have that trust and you're able to continue going forward because you're in the hands of God, no matter what happens. I think it seems to be very formative to who you are as a person. So it's wonderful. And I just want to say thank you for inviting me to your home.
Whatever you want.
And also to the finca. And thanks for what I always like to say, thank you for being an agent of innovation here for the people in Palencia and in Guatemala. And thanks for being on the Agents of Innovation podcast.
I have to say thank you to you for taking in account to me, my family, and San Patricio too. Wherever you want to be here again, you are welcome. And if someone wants to visit us, please, in the town of this podcast, I'm sure gonna be the direction.
One more thing I have to ask you, actually, as we go, because this is a great place, nice little town. I noticed, I haven't seen it today because I haven't been here long enough, but you are building a little home.
Okay.
That's going to be kind of like an Airbnb?
Yes, in some farm that recently we bought, we have some small hotel.
Oh, you also have the little kind of what's a hotel?
Yeah, but
yes,
a small home to be included in an Airbnb. Next time, I think probably in 2 years more, we have a place to.
So set your sights on Palencia, Guatemala. In the next 2 years, you can come live on the finca for a day, a week, a month, whatever you want. I've got first dibs, so I'm going to come back here and I'm going to probably write my next book from right here. I told Saul just get me some good Wi-Fi in that house. I'll rent it out. But anyway, and you get to be also in the context of this finca, but also in the very closeness with this great family. So it'll be a great place to come when that place is done.
This is a quiet and peaceful place. You are welcome.
It's so peaceful. It's so nice and peaceful and pretty quiet until you got the trucks coming in here during the high season, right?
We are on the harvest.
to get the coffee out of here and get it on our tables. So thank you, Beto, for welcoming us, and thanks again for being on the Agents of Innovation podcast.
You're welcome.